Welcome to Strategy Saturday. I'm Charles Carillo, and today, in this episode, we're breaking down renovations that don't add value, so you can avoid upgrades that look good in theory but don't increase the bottom line. Over the years, I've made upgrade decisions that felt smart but didn't improve rent, resale, or ROI. And I've also seen other investors make the same costly mistakes. So let's break down what worked and what was just wasted money. Not all renovations will add value to your property or raise rents, and some renovations might actually decrease your property's value or make it harder to sell or rent altogether. Typically with rental properties, we're focusing on making renovations that will increase rents and thus increase value. If you are flipping a home to sell to future homeowners, the level of renovation would differ since the buyers will be living there. Compare that with a personal home that you are purchasing or already own. Your type of renovations will vary as well, since they will be more geared towards your family's requirement versus a more universal flip renovation. So, some renovations that will not increase value include number one, unpermitted improvements, mainly structural improvements and improvements requiring a licensed contractor to complete. Inspectors and lenders will most likely not approve unpermitted work. Number two is over improving properties. Now, properties that have been over improved will not achieve any meaningful increase in value or rent if the neighborhood does not support those renovations. Number three is installing a pool. Now, adding a pool can be expensive and will not meaningfully increase the value of your home or increase rents you can achieve. If you're renting a property, it will increase your ongoing maintenance and your insurance premiums as well, which kind of takes away from what we're trying to do, which is increase our NOI. Number four is installing solar panels. Solar panels usually take decades to show return on investment, and at that time, they might require replacement, so not a great investment idea. Number five is high-end appliances, and this is similar to over-improvement, but high-end appliances rarely increase the value of your property and be costly to repair and maintain if they're installed in a rental property, and they might need like a specialty repair person to come out and fix them, which just decreases your NOI and increases your headaches as they are. Number six is manipulating the layout or number of rooms. Now, if you're renting a property, having more bedrooms will usually fetch a higher rent. But the trade-off is that you now might be missing a dining room, right? In one of my first rental properties, we converted the dining room to bedroom and making 3-bedroom apartments with a living room and a kitchen. And it worked great. If it were a single family house and the new owners lost 1/3 of their common area space, this might be less appealing. But it was one of the things with rental properties that having that extra third bedroom for people, it allowed us to get a higher rent, and it also made people stay there longer. So it was a win-win. Now, moving on to investors who rent properties. Now, here are some apartment renovations that generally do not increase rent or will only increase it minimally. So just because a renovation does not increase rent substantially does not mean I would not perform them, since it might help in renting the unit faster, which will directly increase your net operating income with less unit downtime. But you have to make that decision of how much effect it's going to have on your property. So number one is basic maintenance. You need to perform basic maintenance like plumbing repairs, electrical updates, fixing broken appliances, pest control, etc. But it will not increase your rents, since it will be taken for granted by a tenant that the roof will not leak, right? They're not going to pay you more because the roof doesn't leak or that they have hot water. Number two is efficiency upgrades. Now, installing energy efficient windows and doors can be expensive, and most tenants will not value them anywhere near the cost. Additionally, LED lights and energy efficient insulation might have a minimal impact on an apartment renter and will most likely not request and not require a higher rent from the tenant. Now, one of the things too is that we'd have with my first rental properties up north, they'd have your furnaces, and then they'd have like all these different grades of high efficiency, and they got very expensive. And you're like, it just doesn't make sense. You're not going to put high efficiency furnace in there and I'm going to try to get like an extra $40 a month from it. It's just not going to work, right? So it's one of those things where it just doesn't pan out. So that's one of the upgrades you would make. You're just going to put in there like the basic furnace that's going to work well and be more efficient than the last one that was in there. However, it's not going to be the one up here, the top one that's going to be 2x, 3x the cost of it. Number three is common area upgrades. Now, upgrading common areas like hallways, stairs, landscaping, etc. might not directly increase rent that much, but it will assist with renting units faster and will give tenants more pride in their units. This is also a good thing too with renewals. Number four is small cosmetic updates. Now, minor cosmetic upgrades typically do not cost that much and will not substantially increase rent, but usually these updates have a high return on an investment. Fresh paint or accent walls, new blinds, upgraded light switches, faucets, or USB outlets. It is doubtful that adding 2 USB outlets in the kitchen is going to increase rent dramatically. Still, you combine that with an accent wall, new faucets, and new paint in the rooms that require a refresh, and now you have a more substantial rent increase, and you're probably renting that unit much faster as well. Now, if you're interested in learning more about minor renovations that can increase your rent, check out episode SS219. That's SS219. Now, your goals for the property will directly impact the level and type of renovation you'll perform. Just because the renovation does not directly increase rents, it might be assisting with tenant retention and the speed at which you rent units, which all go to your bottom line. It is always best to check out your competition and what your local market is offering renters and buyers before you decide on your renovation plan. So I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, submit comments and potential show topics at globalinvestorspodcast.com. If you're interested in actively investing in real estate, please check out our courses and mentoring programs at syndicationsuperstars.com. That is syndicationsuperstars.com. Look forward to 2 more episodes next week. See you then. You always want to invest in real estate, but didn't have the time, didn't know where to find the deals, couldn't get the funding, and didn't want tenants calling you? Since 2006, I've been buying income-producing properties in great locations that provide us with consistent passive income while we wait for appreciation in the future and take advantage of tax laws while we're waiting. And unlike your financial advisor, we invest alongside our investors in every property we purchase. Check out investwithharborside.com. If you like the idea of investing in real estate, if you like the idea of passive income, partner with us at investwithharborside.com. That's investwithharborside.com.
This episode should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Any investment opportunities mentioned on this podcast are limited to accredited investors. Any investments will only be made with proper disclosure, subscription documentation, and are subject to all applicable laws. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of Syndication Superstars, LLC exclusively.